Hey class, today I decided to do my video on Under the Shadow. So I have my little script here of my thoughts and my notes from when I watched, and I'm gonna be reading those and kind of making my video at the same time. All right, so hey everyone, I watched Under the Shadow, a 2016 film, and honestly I picked it because I do really love horror movies in I guess I used to really like them as a kid, but I haven't watched them in a while. So this was kind of an exciting way for me to kind of get back into them. But I do really like the idea and concept of horror movies. And I picked it because it goes deeper than just the traditional jump scare horror movie kind of setup. It's mixed with supernatural horror and real life political stuff. That combo really catches my attention, especially in the political climate of, you know, these days. So, a quick summary of the film: it takes place in the 1980s. During the Iraq War. It follows Shide, a woman who's trying to get her life back together after being banned from medical school for political reasons. Her husband is sent to the front lines, and she's stuck alone in the apartment with her daughter. Her daughter's name is Dorsa, and as bombs are literally falling on the city, so she's very isolated and by herself, with only, I mean, of course, with her daughter, but she feels very alone. That's not the only threat. There's also very creepy supernatural forces that might be haunting them. Sorry, there's construction going on, so I'm gonna try to speak louder, but I can't. Okay, so anyway, for me, what stood out specifically and why it was so terrifying wasn't just Jin. It was how isolated Shide was. She's trying so hard to be this strong mother for her daughter, but she's trapped, not just trapped in the war, but she's trapped in the pressure of being a mom. Her neighbors are judging her. Society is constantly telling her that she's not enough and that she can do more. And the scene with Jane Fonda, with the Jane Fonda workout tape getting her in trouble, like, I particularly was just like, seriously? It was, it was just showing how even exercise can become something dangerous. That fear builds not just from the ghost stuff, but all around. She's not safe anywhere. So that was what was really terrifying for me. One thing that stuck out to me was Isaacson's point about uncanny doubling in horror. It's when something feels off or surreal, like seeing yourself in a dream or an object turning into, something super creepy. Barbara Creed ties this into the idea of monstrous feminine, and I think the film uses that ideal really well. The two examples that I'm going to be talking about um, of related to uncanny doubling and Under the Shadow that I found super interesting, that I wanted to kind of pinpoint for first, were the chandors. So this piece of clothing that was supposed to represent modesty ends up becoming something she absolutely fears. There's one scene where it literally floats and chases her like a ghost, and it's such a wild way to show how something is genuinely, haunting her. Something that's meant to protect her is also something that's controlling and it's threatening. Like, her fears around being a woman in society, it's kind of taking on this ghostly shape, and I feel like they use the chandor really well as a symbol in this. The second one that I want to talk about was the cracks in the apartment. The cracks show up on the walls and in the corners, in the ceiling, and they're not just super creepy visuals, but they're actually showing us how Shide is what she's going through on the inside. And what makes this movie so emotionally effective is because the horror doesn't just come from blood and gore and jump scares, those cheap thrills. It comes from something so real, and that's why I have a personal problem with horror movies, because sometimes when I go to watch them, I'm kind of looking for that cheap, jump scare, kind of gory, easy to get a thrill out of somebody. But the way they go about it in this film particularly is it's a very realistic scare tactic. So yeah, so the cracks on the apartment are showing. It's like a sign of her world genuinely falling apart mentally and physically, and it was doubling in her mind. On the surface she's trying to hold it together, but underneath she's cracking under pressure. I picked these two because they're not just creepy visuals, but they actually show us that what she's going through on the inside. It makes this movie so effective. The horror doesn't just, come from those cheap thrills, but they're really just trying to get to, the reality of what it's like to be a woman, and not only being a woman, but a mother, and something that they do very well. So Under the Shadow was way more than I expected. It's smart, it's very scary, and it really sticks with you. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone else that's watching, but I appreciate anyone taking the time to watch my video, and I look forward to hearing what everyone else has to say. Thank you.